How you doing, wrestling fans? This is Joseph Knight, the owner of the Classic Wrestling Association. Join us on August 31st in Paterson, New Jersey at the Center City Mall. We'll be on the second floor next to Planet 301, the arcade. We're going to have our big event called Summer Bash. So come join us. It's, again, August 31st, Saturday. It's a 7 o'clock start. Be there and see all the stars in action. So we're going to have a big autograph signing during intermission. So hope to see as many people there. Thank you.
Yes, this is the Shock Master, and you're listening to Hardcore Wrestling Radio.
Hello everyone, I'm the Shining Star, Rick Starr, and welcome to another edition of Hardcore Wrestling Radio. But first, before we introduce our special guest for this evening, let me introduce our panel. First, from the United Kingdom, he's all attitude and no filter. He is the son of a bitch, Andy. Andy, welcome to the show.
Welcome everybody, and thanks for joining us on this fine August evening. I forgot what month we were in then.
So didn't I.
We're about in September, so yeah.
And of course, the man that you just heard, that's the incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV. Lance, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
And of course, over from WGS TV, he's the Wrestle Gamer, Double B Bujo. Double B, welcome to the show.
Anyone out there who thinks the Nintendo 2DS or outside of 3DS is full of shit.
Okay.
And last but not least, from the West Coast, he's the Bay Area MVP, known as Will. Will, welcome to the show.
Abolish Taco Bell right now. Abolish it right now.
Abolish it indeed. But folks, we have a special guest tonight. Tonight we are honored to be in the presence of a true legend, a future WWE Hall of Famer who has worked with the likes of Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Sting, The Undertaker, and of course the late John Tenta, better known as Earthquake, who passed away in 2006. He is a natural disaster himself, Fred Ottman, and he will be with us in just a few moments.
I'm checking my Twitter very quickly.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Ottman. This is Rick Starr from Hardcore Wrestling Radio.
What's going on?
Hey, how are we doing tonight?
We're doing excellent.
That's awesome. Listen, we want to say we're honored to have you on the show tonight.
Super.
Yeah, awesome. I want to introduce you to my panel first from the United Kingdom. This is Andy. He would call him the son of a bitch.
Hi, Fred. How are you doing?
Excellent.
How you
Hey,
doing,
you
Fred?
son of a bitch.
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Excellent.
Yeah. And then we also have the Wrestle Gamer, Double B Bojo. He's a wrestling historian. He's been dying to meet you.
Hey,
Awesome.
finally, I'm honored to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you guys.
Yeah. And then we have Lance from Lance Moss TV. Lance?
Nice to meet you, Fred.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
And of course, we have the Bay Area MVP.
How you
Known as
doing,
well.
Fred?
Nope.
How you doing, Fred?
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Now, Fred, you debuted in 1989 as Big Steel Man right before taking on the Tugboat gimmick, which had its own series of changes. Why don't you talk about those changes?
What, as far as the Tugboat?
Yeah, the Tugboat changes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, when they came to me with the gimmick, I've been working there about 8 months. When I did come in there, I came in as U.S. Steel. They, obviously they come up with the gimmick because they do all the marketing and all that stuff like that. And when they work on the gimmicks, they, sit down as a panel on that. They came to me and, with the idea and, would I feel I could, do it and, be comfortable with it and everything like that. And it's like everything they've ever given me, I have no problem with it. Me being like a big kid, anyway, I'm into cartoons, I'm a goofy kind of person to begin with. So it was, me actually being a cross between Popeye and Bluto, and I'm like, hey, excellent gimmick for me. You know what I'm saying? So I would be retarded. That's not politically correct, but, pretty basically myself. So I said, it's a perfect gimmick. So I can just go out there, happy-go-lucky, stumbling, bumbling guy, and when it comes time to kick butt, I can kick butt also. So it worked out fine. It was a great transition.
Cool. Yeah. Now, with the Big Steel Man gimmick, was that your personal gimmick that you came up with, or was that something that the WWF came up with?
No. That's what I've been wrestling in Florida, and then I went just come back from being over in Austria, in Europe, working with Otto Vance for about 10 days in a championship match there. But I've been wrestling in Florida as U.S. Steel, or the Big Steel Man. Diamond Dallas Page was my manager down there, along with Sir Oliver Humperdinck. And prior to that, I had wrestled all over as Big Bubba back in Tennessee, and came from Texas, where I broke into business, San Antonio. So I had already had that Steel Man gimmick when I came up there. And like I said, everything about them is marketing. I mean, very few guys, except for Road Warriors, guys of that caliber and everything, that were well known in those gimmicks. Did they get away from that? Because it's all about them owning the name, the likeness, and the whole deal. It's all business.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, actually, you'd also had a chance to work with Slick. What was he like working with him?
Slick was awesome, man. Good guy, very nice man, smooth talker. I mean, he's a minister in a church in real life, so, talking very good for him. I mean, they put him with me. And like I said, he was a very nice man and very cool to work with.
Awesome. Now, of course, throughout your career in the WWF, you'd worked with people like Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, and, who were certainly authorized at that time. What was it like working with those guys?
It was great. Well, working with, when I actually first came in there, man, these were all the guys they had up there when Vince, brought in guys. They were all cream of the crop, in the first wave, with like guys like Hogan and stuff like that. After he came up, they kept him under wraps for about 8 months after he did the Rocky movie and brought him in there. But all the other guys that were up there were the top guys in their territories, either overseas, Canada, Japan, all the other small territories. So he had those guys, and those are all guys that I grew up watching as a kid, So when they brought me in there for the dark matches and had to take a look at me, I was like, I was in awe. It was a mark, because these are all the guys that I loved to watch when I was younger and that, and, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
But when I came in there, I was, very excited. And the Hogan, the idea of giving me this gimmick as Tugboat and put me right together with him, I was like, wow, here's the guy that is the best. There's a lot of pressure, and I was already hard enough on myself, wanting to do a good job to be the best I can as far as in and out of the ring and give peak performance, because that's the way that Malenko brought me into the business. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy that trained me.
Yeah.
And I was very humbling experience, but to have the opportunity, it was great. And, Hogan was a very, very good guy. He made guys' careers. That touch, not being put into the same, hat with that guy as, other great guys. He made them. They went from being great to being put with him, in the top guys in the business, And here I was, this green guy coming into that, finally getting an early shot, coming to WWF. It was quite an experience. And Taker, I had his first match up there. He's a great guy. Really good person. just real honest, quiet, you know, and great to work with, even when he first broke in there. You know, I mean, that's all I could tell you about him. But I had the opportunity to work with a lot of great guys, you know, Dino Bravo, Road Warriors, I mean, Ted DiBiase, all these different guys, Jake the Snake, you know, Hacksaw Biggin, I mean, just the list goes on and on and on and on. And I feel honored, you know, and really humbled just to be able, you know, to be in the same ring with them, because all those guys were generals. You know what I'm saying? They were great guys. Bret Hart, you know, Mr. Perfect, you know, Per Hennig, and I mean, just I'll forget to. I mean, all the different guys. Like guys talk to me about, you know, the Hall of Fame nominations every year and stuff like that. Who do you think belongs there? Who's your favorite wrestler and stuff like that? And I believe that everybody that's in that ring should be part of the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's a funny thing to say, you know what I'm saying? But there are so many guys, no matter where you were listed or fell on the card, they were all great guys. All of them were great workers, you know, for the most part, and you know, just great wrestlers. And I believe they're all legends, you know.
Well, you know, that's absolutely. You know, we've all talked, and we absolutely believe that both you and, you know, the late John Tenta should also be on that list. And it's a shame that you haven't gotten on that list.
Well, you know, maybe one of these days. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that should be nominated. There's a lot of guys that have been put in there that really have no business being in there. But that's only my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? There's guys that never laced a boot in their life that have been put in there. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
yeah.
It's not my call. It's not my vote. You know what I'm saying? And I never probably ever spoke up. I never, you know, you know, the business is a business of egos. Okay. Just like every other entertainment business. And, I mean, there's nice guys. It's no different than going to work any other job. It's a different way of earning a living, but it's really no different. You know, you have nice guys. You have some guys that aren't so nice. I used to give analogies all the time. Just look at it like this. Because they're obviously, you know, who's a nice guy? Who's an ass? You always want the inside scoop. I'm like, well, the general thing that I noticed through the years is, if a guy's a bad guy, he's usually the nice guy. If a guy's a babyface nice guy, he's usually not so nice. But I mean, you know, a joke, but it's, you know, it's kind of a shoot, you know. But I mean, it's a weird business. But I mean, like I said, and you have to look at it like that. I mean, it's a business. I mean, you know, I'm the kind of person. The guy gets a break and gets a big push. God bless him, man. You know, everybody's out there busting their butt and everything like that. Jealousy should not be, you know, it's like, you know, if you're lucky enough to get that big push or whatever, you know, it's be in the right place, right time, whatever it is, you know, you can get upset, disappointed, I understand, but never down somebody for them getting a chance or getting a break.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We do have a question from one of our people on our fans on our Facebook. Is Dale Richardson asked? He wanted to know, how did it feel to win the WWF Tag Team titles with Earthquake, John Tenta?
It was awesome, man. I mean, I think about Quake all the time. I mean, it's not only my tag team partner, but you know, one of my best friends in you know, regular life, and I miss him. I believe, you know, he was the best. I mean, our styles of working were so similar. We did a lot of things that smaller guys were doing, and working together as a tag team, not working individually. You know, doing moves that both of us were part of, and you know, working together, and you know, bringing that personality along with, you know, skill, you know, to match, not just being two big oafs out there just stumbling and bumbling around.
So,
you give me your feedback.
Go ahead, Billy.
Well, I was always really a huge fan of the Natural Disasters growing up. I thought it was, you know, a great tag team back in the day. It reminded me a lot of the Colossal Connection back in the day, except you guys were more like equal rather than just having one person like Andre the Giant and having a small guy like Haku. You guys were like a true, you know, the new version of the Twin Towers as as it were, in that instance. And it just, it's appalling that tag team wrestling just isn't what it used to be. Do you have any thoughts on why in tag team wrestling in like WWE and TNA has just really taken a decline as of late?
I don't, I was curious, and I've talked to a bunch of different guys about that. I believe, just like I believe that you have to have a lot of multiple personalities there. So many guys are kind of like the same, or the same looks and stuff like that, and the variety's not there. Not everybody comes to see Hulk Hogan. Not everybody comes to see the Natural Disasters. Not, or the guys. There's guys that like guys that are in the middle of the card. There are guys that like guys that are in the bottom of the card. I like, I like watching a lot of cruiserweights. I like watching, that type of wrestling. Whatever happens to midgets? There's only one midget in wrestling now. You know what I'm saying? There was lots of different things, a lot of stuff going on. Like you say, with tag teams, it's really missing. I can see WWE finally trying to put some together, but, they got to be, tag teams that are cohesive, that work, you know what I'm saying? Look at the Bushwhackers, man. They were funny, ha-ha, but the gimmick, the people love the gimmick, that type gimmick. There was a lot of different variety, a lot, you know what I'm saying? The Hearts, all the different tags that were out there, it gave a variety, and, they had, the tag team belts meant something, because of the guys that were out there. So you have a legitimate point there.
I wonder if you could talk to us about how you first became interested in pro wrestling.
Well, how I first became interested, I'm born and raised in Miami, and I used to train at a gym in Coral Gables. And when the boys were in town wrestling, either Dennehy Auditorium down in Coconut Grove, or if they were wrestling over at Miami Beach Convention Center, a lot of the guys trained at this gym that I trained at. They'd come into town and stuff like that. And I talked to them a lot. It was powerlifting. It was working with the strength coach at the University of Miami, with a few of the ball players and stuff like that. And, and when I was talking with these guys here, they were wrestling, they're like, man, you ever thought about, doing this? You're a big guy, you're athletic and this and that. I said, man, I wrestled a little amateur high school and that stuff. I, just never given it much thought. Finally, I think the Kangaroos were there wrestling, Fabulous Kangaroos, and they're like, hey, man, you ever thought about, doing this thing? And I'm like, yeah, well, the Great Malenko has a school down this way in Fort Lauderdale on the weekends, and he has his regular school up in Tampa. And, you might want to take a look at it. So he gave me some information and stuff like that. And I went up and checked it out. I met Joe Malenko, his one son, and Dean Malenko. Of course, you know who he is, the master of 1,001 holds, and they were great guys, and their dad was just phenomenal. What a nice guy. And me, I'm a big Mark. I was a big Malenko fan back in the day, a guy that could take and bring the house down by just poking a guy with two fingers in the eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? Had great facial expression. He was a great amateur, great shooter. He was friends with Paul Gotch, who is the guy that's responsible for taking wrestling to Japan, and it being so big over there, he's like a god. And anyway, that's pretty big. I went up there, I got involved, was training there on the weekends, and eventually I moved from Miami up to Tampa, so I had the capability of training, 5, 6, 7 days a week. It was right there. I was working. My family, my mom and dad and I had already moved up north a long time ago, so they were close by. So it worked out fine, man. I trained under them for about 2 years, 2.5 years, and finally they got me a break and got me booked into Texas and San Antonio, which was Tully Blanchard's dad's old promotion was called Southwest Championship Wrestling, and a guy that promoted for Dallas in the southern part of the state, he bought it from him. His name was Fred Barron, and it became Texas All-Star Wrestling. And actually, we started doing TVs at Gillies after they did Urban Cowboy at Gillies in Pasadena, which is outside Houston. And we were the first wrestling on, it was right in the early stages of cable, and on USA. So it was pretty phenomenal.
Can you talk to us about your very first match as a pro wrestler? What was that like for you? What kind of experience did you have, before your match, during your match, and after? What was it like for you?
But when we were doing outlaw shows when I was with Malenko, man. Is that what you're talking about? My first match on TV, or
your first match ever as a pro wrestler?
Oh my God! I didn't know my elbow from my butthole. Probably. I was so nervous. I was so green, so nervous. Wrestling. I wrestled at flea markets. I wrestled at rodeo arenas. I wrestled at small little National Guard armories. It was like regular outlaw wrestling. Because part of the school, we were going out there getting in front of people. He'd get us out in front of people everywhere. And brother, I was like, you're out there, and when I got comfortable, and it was years down the line, you're looking at the audience, you're looking at different, joking about different things before you're getting ready to work, and out there, man, I was, in about 10, 15 times before I ever went out to go wrestle, and then I wrestle out there, and you're not even seeing anybody there, aware of people that are out there, other than you're hearing the noise and the comments and stuff. Like, you're just going out there and trying to remember what holds to do, what high spot you want to do, make sure you're in the right place at the right time, I guess, because you're just so green, I'm just a ball of nerves, pretty basically, and even years down the line, I wrestled 17 years, about 300 days a year, okay, and I was nervous every time I went to that curtain. I was getting ready to go out in front of the people. I passed that curtain and going out to the ring was nothing at that point. It was just, having fun. I remember, one instance in '92 at SummerSlam, we broke Michael Jackson's record for attendance at Wembley Stadium, and I was screaming across the ring. The roar was so ungodly, man, and it was just, it gives you chills to know that, that the people are like that. You talk to them. To this day, when I talk to people, and that, it's just, it's great to have that recognition, and the people say, man, they loved you, or I loved when you guys did this, or, this or that. Not whether you're a bad guy or a good guy, somebody, likes to see you and wants to see you. Knows that I was doing my job right, No matter what, I was able to make somebody feel good and enjoy that evening to come watch this, Because, Malenko always told us, it don't matter if there's one person or a million persons, you have to give them 100%, 200%, and give them their money's worth. And that's the important thing.
Oh, definitely, most definitely. How long were you wrestling in the territories around the United States before you made your way to the WWF?
Who was it, wrestling?
No. How long were you wrestling in the territories before you went to the WWF?
About 6, 7 years maybe. Yeah, I wrestled in Pensacola. I wrestled in Texas for over 2 years. I wrestled in Tennessee for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. Went to Portland, Oregon when Billy Jack tried to open the territory up there. Down in Florida for about 10 months, 11 months. Probably about 7 years 7 years would be good rule of thumb.
Now, do you find your experience on the territories really helped you in your preparations for the World Wrestling Federation?
Oh, most definitely, man. I mean, it seasoned me. I mean, I remember, first of all, you weren't making much money in the very beginning. It wasn't, I wasn't making much money. There's maybe, so since you're not making a whole lot, you're trying to save your money, because that was a big deal when you were breaking in. They were telling you, save your money, kid. Save your money. Save your money, kid. So a lot of guys left the business and didn't have much or didn't have anything. They lived like, there's no tomorrow. But anyway, 3 guys probably we rented a 1-bedroom. The guy with the girlfriend or wife, he gets the bedroom. The other 2 guys, the living room. Show time. But it was he's asleep, isn't he? Yeah. But then they call it entertainment. But it was crazy. I mean, it's seasoning, man. When I was in Texas, Texas is a very large state, and we were all over the state. We were probably putting 4,000 miles on the road, 3,000 to 4,000 miles a week. We were based out of San Antonio, and the guy I was living with, he was dating the manager of a budget rent-a-car, and we were getting Lincolns for $20 a day, and splitting the gas 4 ways, and just up and down the road. We'd swap a Lincoln out a week. We were living okay, and it was just crazy. The road, the stories, the stuff, that happens behind the scenes or behind the dumpsters, whatever. But just some craziness, that's out there. The wrestling business was planes, trains, automobiles, and even boats. To get to wherever you got to get to. And it seasoned you. It made you respect. And I mean, a lot of newer guys are coming down, and there's a lot of great talent out there. But coming up the way we did and getting thrown into something, I don't know. It gives you so much of a different view. As far as it's like rock and roll guys. They're on the bus, on a plane, or whatever they're doing. But in these small territories, you were driving. A lot of territories were 3 states, So driving here, driving there, driving home at nighttime, or maybe you're staying over a couple of days because depending on where you're located. And, the older guys there that were in the territory before you came there, because, territories, it was rotation. 1, 2, 3 months or 4 months, depending, or sometimes as much as 6 months, depending on the storylines and that. And as long as there's when I was in Texas, I went through 4 different bookers. Buck Grobe, the angles change. And, you can only ride the wave for so long. That's why I tell people a lot of times, here with like WWE, when there was WCW and there was ECW was separate, all those things, there's places to go, comparison. You're still getting your time on TV. Shifting talent is going from one place to the next place. It behooves guys that are wrestling to have other companies out there. Not to downgrade them or criticize them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But the more companies means more opportunities for the guys that are working. More places to go, more people to compare. Some people like one company better than the other because of the type of wrestling presence. Maybe the other company's more, softer core. Maybe the other one's doing wilder stuff. You know what I'm saying? But you have comparisons, and it's just more opportunities. You know what I'm saying? The less places to go, the less opportunities.
Do you ever long for the days of the territories to come back in like the independent federations around the country today?
I'll tell you what, I'm living in Florida. I'm probably going up here to Tennessee to move. But I'm a Florida boy for years and years and years. And I still, on occasion, go to some of the outlaw shows and stuff. go out there, sit in and watch and stuff. NXT is over in Orlando now. They got their new facility that's over there, which is developmental for WWE. Ohio Valley is TNA's developmental now. In this town, I love going. And some guys who don't know who you are, coming in, and I've bought tickets to places and stuff like that. It's a mark. But, if you don't know who you are, and go there and watch and see how some people react, and see how some people work and stuff. Then there's guys out there, I talk to guys on my Facebook all the time, and I give them my personal number, call, and we talk, and talk about different things, and especially new guys are coming up in the business and that. But I think territories, it'd be nice to have steady territories along with the big places, okay? But you got to remember, there's still a lot of small areas of the country that the big people don't come to, you know what I'm saying? You got to go way out of your way, and with all the talent that goes in and goes out of the TV, the big major corporation companies, like WWE, when you go out on you can draw, if you have areas locally that can, have little TVs and, put the package together, they can do good business also, you know what I'm saying? And it's a good, just like AAA ball, AA ball, it's a good place to develop your craft. Getting out in front of people 2 times a week or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and developing your craft. And also, it's great for other people. It costs a lot of money to go to a big show, man. It costs a lot just to order a pay-per-view, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The average guy that's working takes his kids there thinking it's like going to the ballpark to watch a football game or a baseball game. By the time you buy the food, you got to buy gimmicks. When they go to a big show like WWE, they sell more in gimmicks than they do in the house that's there. You know what I'm saying? So think of the money that's being spent out there by the average guy. Not everybody's making big money. There's a lot of guys that have families that are making $7, $8, $9 an hour. You know what I'm saying? But their kids still have the same wants, man. Still, want to be able to see the same guys. If that makes any sense.
Okay, I have one last question for you, sir, and it might put you on the spot, but being that you were in the World Wrestling Federation at this time, I got to ask you, there was, a huge incident that happened involving Jim Hellwig, a.k.a. the Ultimate Warrior, around 92, 93, where he was holding out on Vince McMahon, saying that, I'm not going to go out there, and I'm going to ruin your pay-per-view if you don't start paying me more money. And at one instance, they said that Vince McMahon said yes, and Warrior went out there. I believe he was in a tag match with Macho Man, the late great Macho Man Randy Savage at the time, and he went out and he did the main event, and then as soon as he came back, they said Vince McMahon fired him on the spot, and now there are conflicting reports saying that Vince McMahon has actually retracted that statement, saying that what happened backstage wasn't the truth. Can you shed any light onto this subject? Was there any truth to what was previously stated about what Jim Hellwig did, or was Vince McMahon actually telling the truth, saying that there was no truth to what he said about Ultimate Warrior?
To be honest with you, I've never heard anything about that, It's just another rumor, like there's so many rumors out there, so I couldn't tell you. And even if anything like that, I would assume that would be, knowing how Vince would be, that would be something that he would pull somebody into his office and talk to them one-on-one. That's not a deal that would be done in front of a bunch of boys. That sounds like if somebody said something like that, he said that something like that happened. There's a lot of things that have happened through the years that were not true, and there was a lot of stuff that never came out that has happened through the years that, were kind of shady deals and stuff like that. That's one of those deals, me personally, I couldn't shed any light on it at all. I might as well be sitting in the closet because, you know, I've never seen anything like that. I mean, you know, I know, you know, he was a pretty hot firecracker, but, you know, there's been a lot of guys that have, you know, tried to hold up things and over the years, and guys that have done no shows, and all you can do is shake your head and, like, you know, what's this guy thinking, you know? I mean, there's a list of guys that are kind of like that, you know. But if it doesn't affect me, remember, like I told you before, you know, I mean, it's like this stand up between Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, going back and forth and stuff, and you see the rantings and ravings on the internet and that stuff. Like Jimmy, you know, all you can do is shake your head. Well, you know, for that part.
We was going to pass the questions over to the son of a bitch, Andy.
Okay, you son of a bitch.
I'm sorry.
Hi, Fred. How are you doing?
All right, how you doing, buddy?
A couple of questions. One, I've been doing some research over the last couple of days on the internet, and first question, because I'm a car fan, do you still have the hot rod, and are you still working on it?
Do I still what now?
Do you still have... this could be just complete internet rubbish, but it's a website that I found. It said you enjoy working on a hot rod. Blah,
I love them, man. I love them.
Have you still got the hot rod that they were talking about, or has that gone? And
yeah, I have one that I've been wanting to restore, but in between going up north, and so I got a '64 pickup that is waiting for me to sitting out in front. It's been sitting because I haven't been able to do anything on it. Plus, I had a couple of surgeries and stuff on my leg, so I've been out for over a year. But I've gotten this and to work on it and that stuff, and now I'm gonna probably wind up pulling it up north if everything goes right, so I can fix it up to turn it. But I love working on hot rods. I've had over the years, I think I've had 52 Fords, 32 Fords, a variety. I used to drag race when I was younger. I've had Chevelles, I've had Camaros, a full gamut of different type of hot rods.
Nice. Man of my own art. What is your version? You're probably sick of answering this question. What is your version of the story of the infamous night the Shockmaster debuted, the glitter helmet?
What happened was the bottom of the wall didn't break out. I was in a helmet that I couldn't hardly see out of. I busted, it was 2x4s, 12 inch to 14 inches on dead center, like it would be in your house, with sheetrock, 5/8 sheetrock over the top of it. It was made taller because of the set flare for the gold, so they wanted the wall 10 feet, boards come 8 feet, so they built the board about right below my knees that went across, and it attached the bottom to the top of the wall. And Mike Graham was the person that was going to give me the cue when to bust the wall. He says, the wall's tough, you need to hit it hard. So what I did, I put my arms up double axe handle style. He gave me the cue. I blew the wall apart, but right at my knee level, poop, I flipped over. My momentum, I hit the wall so hard, broke the wood, and the wall then went straight down. And the helmet popped off like a champagne cork. Well, that pay-per-view was live, so there's no do-overs on live TV. That's the beach. And so all I could do was turn my head to the wall to try and keep them from seeing my face, reach for the helmet, flop it back on my head, and jump to my feet to finish the promo and finish the deal. With the shock and everything, everybody else looking on.
Yeah, I can remember.
You know, you had to finish the promo because all this was leading into the next pay-per-view that was going to be in New Orleans.
Yeah, I can remember looking on a video on YouTube that somebody'd archived up there, and it was the look on, I'm sure it was Dusty's face, he didn't whether laugh or cry, and everybody was just fumbling around trying to put the mask thing back on, and it was just so comical. It was just one of the funniest things I've seen in wrestling for years.
Yeah, just celebrated its 20th year. Yeah, I don't know how many million people have watched it.
Who actually did the Shockmaster voice? Do you know who did the voice for it?
I don't know. A lot of people ask me, hello, I am Shockmaster. I don't know. You tell me, man. Oldie did it. I did it. Who knows?
Another thing that I briefly watched a shoot interview that you did around about 2008, 2009, and the part of the video that I was interested in all of it, but there was a part of the interview that the audio was really bad, and you couldn't get the full gist, and it was the incident. What really happened with Nails attacking Vince McMahon? That's I
was there. It happened so fast. Nails ran in the room, grabbed him by the neck, choke slammed him to the floor. And everybody was trying to get him off of him.
Holy moly.
Is that why Nails lost his contract with the WWE? Because he seemed to disappear not long after.
I have no idea.
Have you any idea what the feud was over?
Deal, right? That's a hell of a negotiation deal, right? He grabbed my throat off.
Stone Cold Steve Austin style.
Yeah, and Nails is a good guy, man. He's one of the Minnesota crew, and he was a great guy. He was with me up in Portland, Oregon. And when I was up there, and great guy, tough son of a gun. He was a bounty hunter for up north. I mean, so you got to be pretty off your rocker to do that for a job, But picking up bad guys, you know what I'm saying? But great guy. But yeah, I was there. It was wintertime. We were in Green Bay at TV, and whoop, bang! I just walked out of the locker room, and Vince's office was door to the right. And out of the corner of my eye, I'm watching it go up and down to the floor. Watching everybody hustle. Oh my God! Screaming, oh no! Yeah.
If you were still in your prime today and you had the choice, who would you pick to work for, WWE or TNA?
If I would work for somebody, it would have to be WWE. WWE. Nothing personally against TNA. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I imagine they're a good company. I mean, I'd probably work there. I mean, and go to Japan. If I had a choice, Japan. And there's a lot of good companies that run throughout Europe and UK. I mean, you can stay busy if you want to. Mexico, you can all kind of stuff. We went down. I worked. The guys tried to start a company about 11 years ago, and they were with the Seminole Indians. They had access to South America. We went to Lima, Peru. All right, and we ran the same building, a bull arena, in Lima, Peru, and the smallest crowd they drew was, I think, 10,000. They ran it 4 nights in a row, and the smallest crowd was like 8,000 to 10,000. And they had beer companies that wanted to were pushing to get this thing together. They had liquor companies, cigar and tobacco companies. I mean, press, the whole deal. Do you know what killed it? Everybody wants to come to the United States to try and run here. And they were being backed by the Seminole Indians.
Are you still doing some research again, and it's probably out of date now, but are you still working in the water blasting industry? And if so, do you want to give it a plug? Do you want to have a plug?
I'm retired now. I got health problems, man. I'm old, confused. I've only got 2 brain cells left in my head. You know what I'm saying? My new wife of 2 years. She's been managing a hotel in Clearwater Beach. I train at Luke of the Bushwhackers. He's got a gym over there. I was just with Brutus the other day. He just got married a couple of days ago. Was with Hulk's out there on about half a mile from where our hotel is. There's quite a few guys. There's a couple. Bischoff's son trains there. Because they're over there. They live over in that area. I mean, it's kind of nice, man. It's quiet here like that. So I'm going to move to Tennessee, is where I'm eventually going to finish up here. And I'm doing some autograph stuff here and there and everything. Staying healthy, training, and trying to get my girlish figure back. It's almost tea-back season. So that's a scary thought. It man me in a pair of tea-backs.
We actually have a picture of this, the son of a bitch of the teabag.
Oh, God.
There you go.
My eyes. Rick, I'm still going to therapy for that.
I'm doing the Brazilian butt lift, okay? I just want you to know.
Calling the therapist again.
Going back to the Hall of Fame, as far as I'm concerned and the British fans are concerned, you should have been in the Hall of Fame a long, long time ago. But just changing the subject slightly, and if you want to decline from answering the question, it's not a problem. It's just something that we've discussed on the show quite a few times. Do you honestly think Chris Benoit should have been inducted into the Hall of Fame? Forgetting what he supposedly did to his wife and child, do you really think that they should forgive him for that, if it's ever forgivable? And do you think he should be in the Hall of Fame, or do you think the WWE have done a wise thing by basically blanking him from the history books?
I mean, they don't want to bring up that dead history, just like, every time there's an incident with drugs, you get that letter in the mail, saying if you have any drug or alcohol problems, something like that, please contact us and we'll help you, and the whole deal. And I don't know what happened there. Believe it or not, I was with my kids and we seen them. They were doing TV in Tampa, and I took my boys there and we were backstage, and I seen them probably 2 weeks before that happened. He came over, hey Fred, how you doing? And talked with my sons and stuff like that. I mean, he was a great guy. I don't know what caused it. I don't know if, everybody has their own opinions about what causes these things. You know what I'm saying? But, they're trying to do the best to protect the business. Because the business, everybody's always taking a swing at it, trying to give it a black eye anyway. You know what I'm saying? And that was a very delicate subject. It was a horrific incident. I was like, I could not believe it, and don't know why. The only person who knows is the man that did it, and who knows. But as far as his work goes, he should be at the top of the Hall of Fame as far as that goes. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that were great athletes that were shunned. I mean, look at in baseball, Pete Rose, never to be a Hall of Famer. One of the top baseball players ever, records, and because he gambled, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As far as that's concerned, as far as gambling, there's a lot of people who have gambled in professional sports that played professional sports. Maybe not a smart thing, but, it's a fact. If you don't think that that's true, but in the case of this here, with a guy killing persons, they probably figured, when they sat down, that they would take too much. It's not worth the honor for them to take the hit that they would from the moral people, you know what I'm saying? The people that have children, the people that have families, they just would not. I believe that they wouldn't understand. But that's only my opinion, and opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got some, and everybody's got one, and some of them stink, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I never thought of it that way personally, that it would have a knock-on effect to wrestling as a whole. It never dawned on me, and I'm glad you've actually said that, because it's now put more of a thought in my mind.
I mean, morally, you know what I'm saying? It's just something that you could never make. There's nothing you can ever do to change other people's feelings and to change how they, how horrific an incident that was. You know what I'm saying? The man killed his family, laid him out, killed them. Then took his own life. I mean, there's no do-overs there. I mean, there's no making it. There's no sugarcoating it. I mean, you got to try and hide it. Hopefully people will forget about it. It may be in the back of their mind, but if it's not thrown in their face all the time, and something like that where you're trying to honor a guy who's murdered his family, no, I don't think so. It'd be about as good as letting gas in church. It just wouldn't get over it.
Do you think that the wrestling I don't even know if you still follow wrestling, to be honest, but do you think wrestling as a whole has gone downhill? And I personally think it's gone downhill for one reason and one reason alone. Most of the magic secrets that went on behind the scenes, most of the internet fans, and the word is internet fans seem to know everything that goes on behind the scenes these days. It must be difficult to create storylines that don't actually leak out. And I think, although the internet is a good medium for publicising things, I think it's done a great deal of harm to wrestling. I don't know what your views are on that, but I think the internet really put the dampeners on wrestling for letting us know too many of the background secrets that go on. I mean, I was like most people, completely blinkered, didn't know people bladed themselves, didn't know that people called shots whilst they were wrestling in the ring, but now everybody seems to know that it's a predetermined outcome, and it's entertainment and not really a sport. I was one of the young blinkered people at the time that thought men did actually go in there and fight for real. And then how shocked was I when I grew into puberty and read all the information on the YouTube sites and all the others. So do you really think that wrestling suffered because of the internet?
I think it's suffered. I mean, the internet, the media, it's like the best comparison. It's like I tell people all the time. You got all the stuff going on in the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
But meanwhile, they got reporters there. They're getting on worldwide news, and the same news is on the web, okay, that are telling everything that this country's doing or that country's doing or where they're doing this. We're looking for Taliban. They're about ready to strike. Okay. And I guess the bad guy, he don't get TV, I guess, and he don't get that information, or he don't have a computer. Okay, it's the same thing with that. Same thing with wrestling, you know what I'm saying? Everybody tells this match happened in this city. They took video footage via the phone. They did this, it's an exposure. When in the beginning, all they had was the cheat sheet, the 3 or 4 wrestling dirt sheets that came out weekly, and I think more of the boys read those sheets, or as many boys read the sheets as did the hardcore fans. Okay, they used to have, Meltzer with his, publication that talked about the matches that happened in Japan, the stuff in Europe or UK, the stuff that's happening in Canada or in Mexico, and all the different organizations, and his criticisms of this match or that match or this match, and that's all there was for a long time. Now it's the internet where everybody's a newsman. You got YouTube, you've got, the blogs, you've got the radio shows, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where all the stuff's out there. It is, it takes the damper off it. Because, and also on top of that, now we've got cage fighting, right?
Yeah.
Which is gladiators of today, all right, which is taking another piece. You know what I'm saying? So now, you only had football season to go against you, to hurt you. You had baseball season, you had basketball season, had the Olympics to roll around, other events and stuff like that, auto racing, stock car racing, you know what I'm saying? Because they're all the same kind of fans that watch pro wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Now you got, wrestling's been hurt. It will continue to be hurt. And it runs in cycles. You know what I'm saying? As far as quality of show. You know what I'm saying? And They have highs and they have lows. And, I mean, there's so many different things out there. You know, it isn't what it used to be. No. I believe it's not, you know, like we start this out with, you know, tag teams. They don't have good tag teams anymore. They don't have enough variety of characters. Maybe different names. Maybe different, you know, saying stuff. Like now they got the Divas reality show that's on TV, right?
Yeah.
Let me throw my dirty laundry to the public. The Kardashians of the squared circle. I mean,
There's
you know,
no way on God's green earth are you going to ever get me to watch that garbage. Never.
You know what I'm saying? People are going to watch it. Look, do you see the reality shows that are on TV? I mean, come on. Every week is a new moronic show. I mean, there's shows on there that make Honey Boo Boo seem like she should be, you know, a queen. You know what I'm saying? There's some horrible, horrific, you know, oh, it's real, it's reality TV. What are they talking about, reality TV? It's all staged mess. You know? There you go. That's all taking the attention from wrestling, reality TV.
My final question, and you can think about this one before you answer if one of the other guys wants to chip in, but we always ask guests before they leave, what is your favourite road story?
Or funny.
My favorite road story? God, man, there's a lot of them, man. I try to stay away from them because I plead the fifth. Okay? Because right before I die, I will release the book. My wife's always on me. You need to write. She's always wanting me to keep a diary that I can remember. My memory is going now. Most of my brain cells have been knocked out. My brain's about like a BB in a boxcar. You know what I'm saying? I keep my head too much. It's like a maraca. But favorite road stories, man. God, man, I could. I always try and keep them gentle and sweet, nice. You know,
well, this is hardcore wrestling radio, so you don't have to do it gentle and sweet. We drop the F-bombs
yeah,
here.
But we have to
but you know,
in the room.
I have to think
about.
I have to think of the not so innocent, you know, not so innocent people that could be damaged. You know, I'm damaged enough with all the stuff that I've been put through. But
we damaged the rest of them.
Well,
you
I come free damage.
Think of the years. I mean, you know, figure it. You know, one of my brother-in-laws is one of the Nasty Boys. You know what I'm saying? Dusty Rhodes is my other brother-in-law. Goldust is my nephew, and Cody is my other nephew. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is a road story at our house. Or was. You know what I'm saying?
A real road.
Christmas, holidays. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? Drunk Nasty Boys at a Christmas party. I mean, you know, there's a road story for you.
That's like having two mother-in-laws in the house at the same time.
Oh. God, man. Road story. You know? Oh, God. Oh, my God. I can tell you one thing. This is supposedly, my first territory was in San Antonio. In the office, one night, we woke up in the morning, and there was a fire at the office. And they said they accused one of the guys of running from the fire like it was an insurance job or it was set on purpose. And there was the Moondogs were there, and they had this guy travel with them. His name was Leroy, and he wrote a song about the office burning down. You know, it starts out, "Where's the office? There's no bloody walls. Where's the office? There's no walls at all." Somebody burnt it down for supposedly an insurance job, and it was supposedly one of the office people that burnt the thing down. There's a road story. Yeah, the office, you know, they were trying, yeah. But without mentioning any names, you know, arson carries a lot.
Well, my final comment, Fred, is I'm 49, almost 50, so I've been entertained by you and your tag team partner there right from the early days. So we're all round about the same sort of era, and I'd just like to thank you for putting a big smile on my face and my 27-year-old son's face over the years in your heyday. It's been much appreciated that you've taken the time out to speak to us, and I am one happy chappy sitting here in the UK.
Hey, that's the greatest, And, thank you and all the fans in the UK. They're phenomenal fans. The greatest thing, I told guys ask me all the time, if you had to do it all over, would you do it again? I'd do it completely the same. Even knowing all the bad things, the good things, and all that stuff, I would do it completely again. And you know what? I mean, it's really humbling, and it makes you feel really good to know that people cared. And like I said, know that, people thought I did a good job, or they appreciated what I did, and far be it for me to know that I'm not the greatest fan ever to go inside the square circle. But you know what? It's nice to know that people appreciated it and they liked what they saw or related with it.
Well, my son now, like I say, is 27 years of age, and I'm more than proud to say, and I will try and get a picture on the Facebook Hardcore Wrestling page so you can see. When he was about 5 or 6, he had an Earthquake and Typhoon wrestling T-shirt, and we've still kept it to this day. So I will try and get a picture of that and put it on the Facebook page, because my son was, he thought he was Earthquake and Typhoon. He really did. He had the little sailor's hat, and he just loved it. He really thought it was awesome. So my son will be so chuffed that his dad's actually spoken to one of his idols.
That's awesome. And I talk to a lot of people on Facebook. I tell them, every time I do these radio shows, contact me, man. I mean, I'm always on there sporadically, and I look at it and monitor it and that. A lot of people contact me on there, and, I appreciate it. I appreciate the, I got a lot of young fans out there. I tell guys, just watch what you say on there too much, because, I got a lot of kids come in that are new fans, that their dads, they still have VHS tapes, so they still have DVDs and stuff with us on it. It's kind of a great compliment. I mean, this year when I went to do WrestleCon up during WrestleMania, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, seeing all the people. I had people coming up to me that talked to me on Facebook from Japan, from India, from Africa, UK, Germany, just all over, Mexico and stuff. It was really cool, man. Seeing all the guys being there and everything, it was really, really awesome. It was a really well done show, and it was a lot of excitement, and it was just really, really neat. I like being part of it. Cool experience. It's great for my ego. Knowing a whole fart like me can, do some happiness to somebody.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wonder what the German word for tugboat is. Probably be Hasselhoff.
I don't know.
Tuggesbotus.
Yeah, I'll have to sing for you and eat a sloppy burger while I'm drunk.
Well, you know what? Real quick, we're going to pass it on to Lance Moss. I think Lance has just got a couple of questions for you. We're not going to keep you too much longer. Lance, over to you.
Pleasure talking to you, Fred. First off, you said you're Cody Rhodes' uncle. How do you feel about the push he's getting?
What, Cody?
Yeah, Cody, yeah.
Oh, man, I think it's great. I think he's a good worker. He's a very good worker. He was a great athlete. He was a good amateur wrestler when he wrestled in Georgia. He's a good kid, nice kid. He's my nephew. So I'll blow him up real big for you, but I think it's it's awesome, man. He's not a real big guy. He's in great shape. He looks really good. Presents himself really well. He's very well spoken. You know what I'm saying? He gives you a good interview. I mean, God bless him, man. I hope he does well and rides that way for as long as he can.
All right.
And one final question. What was it like being in the War Games?
What, in War Games?
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome, man. I mean, it's like I look at all of them, as every match I did is exciting, but I mean, was involved with all great workers that were in there with me, and it was a great event, man, being part of War Games. I mean, they were one of the highest rated pay-per-views at that time for WCW.
All
right.
Rick, I hate to interrupt. I have just one question.
Go ahead, Billy.
On WCW War Games, WCW's Most Notorious Matches DVD set, Dusty Rhodes was quoted on there as saying around the turn of the 90s is when the WCW War Games, in his opinion, the matchup in itself, had started to lose some of its original meaning, back from when they had started it back in the 80s when he was involved with it against the Four Horsemen. Do you kind of agree with that assessment, or do you have a different take on the way the WCW War Games gimmick in itself went?
I think it was probably hotter then because the Four Horsemen were on fire at that point in time, but I don't think it's any different in, like, comparing SummerSlams or comparing Survivor Series. You know what I'm saying? Which one's a better one or which one's a worse, you know what I'm saying? After amount of time, you have a name, but are the events they're going to draw as well, you know what I'm saying? Or do they mean as well? It's all according to the people putting the matches together and developing the storyline leading into that event, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes you you can have great characters, but if the storyline leading up to it, you know what I'm saying, if it's too soon, it's like being in a bodybuilding contest and peaking too soon, or your body holding too much water, you coming in too overweight and not cut enough. It's the same with the business. If you don't have that storyline where it needs to be when it's time for the big blow-off, the big show, you know what I'm saying? People kind of fart on it.
No.
Just because it has the same name, you can't compare one show to the next show to the next show. Depends how hot the eventers are that you have and how strong the characters you have, or how long they've been there. Are the people sick and tired of seeing them? Remember, there was a point in time during the 90s where guys just did not leave. There was no, every year after WrestleMania, there's going to be a talent release, right?
Yep.
Always.
Spring cleaning.
Like clockwork. People are like looking, who's going to be? Is it going to be me? You know what I'm saying? Where am I at on my contract? This, that, and the other thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said the more how hot, depending on how hot your characters are, he's gonna, the pay-per-view can have whatever name it wants. If you have the same name year after year after year, you can't compare it if your main event or your, not even just the main event, but the variety of matches on the card are good enough, to be on that, that you built them in such a way. That's why the main event isn't the only thing. Every match has to mean something on that card.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And we're going to pass the questions up to one last person, and that's Will. Will, over to you.
Hello again, Fred. How's your evening?
Excellent. I'm driving through the mountains of Tennessee right now.
At least you and JBL love the sights.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah. One of my questions I wanted to ask you is, who came up with the name of the natural disasters when you and Earthquake were in the tag team?
The powers that be, man, the committee. There were several people that sit in a room that talk over, and that's all. It's just like a corporation. When they were developing ideas and, putting this guy and that guy, I get asked that question, would you have liked it? I wish I was Tugboat for a little bit longer. But when they asked me about teaming me up with Earthquake, I got real excited, man. I said, wow, he's, I mean, he was a guy that's a total package, man. He was a great amateur wrestler. He was a sumo wrestler. He broke in Japan as a pro wrestler. I mean, he wrestled amateur at LSU. He was an alternate on the Canadian Olympic team. And he was a nice guy. I thought, like, we used to sit and talk a lot. And they came to me with this deal, and I'm like, man, I couldn't get over. I said, man, it'd be awesome, man. And they asked me, would you be interested? I said, sure. And that's where it all began. It all started. They came to me with and see if I was interested in tagging. I'm like, wow, yeah. And that's when there was a lot of tag teams. And tag teams were hot. And I was like, man, look at all the different guys we could work with, and we could be completely different than everybody else that's there. You know what I'm saying? As far as styles, as far as, our ability. They put us with Jimmy Hart, who was a hot potato. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
we have the ability to talk on our own also. So it was kind of neat. We worked as a group, as a family, so it was kind of neat.
Oh, that's very good. Also, I understand that you were working in Japan. What was it like working for Japan compared to the States?
Japan was awesome, man. I mean, it was very, very different. I mean, I haven't been there in years, but I mean, it was very different. If they seen something you liked, they would applaud. Some sign that they watch. They're very curious people. If they didn't see something they care for in that, and Bruiser Brody was in and out of my first territory, and he really talked to me a lot. I really respected him a lot. He was a legend over there. Between him and Stan Hansen, I mean, and he told me stories about. He was a wild man. At 300 pounds, he was a locomotive, brother. He'd go, all over the place. He'd come out in Japan, kick the door, and knock out 5 fans on his way to the ring.
Wow.
Oh yeah. He told me, he warned me, gave me warnings about the guys. Don't ever give them too much. Give them, respect them, but do not give them any. And I only worked mostly with the top guys. And there's a lot of guys there that if they try you, they see a weakness or an incident, they would try you. And so I just watched my P's and Q's, and I gave it 150%. And I loved it, man. It was awesome. So people treated you phenomenal, other than the fact that you would come 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, knock at your door, and want autograph. Autogram. But it was great. The country was just unbelievable. And my first time with the first time WWE went over was my first time going over. We did Tokyo Dome, and it was a sellout, and it was just an incredible experience, man. Believe me, brother, I got my stuff in, okay, and the people respected me when I got out of there, But it was cool. We had a good time, man.
Yeah. Oh, and one final question before I say goodbye is, what do you think about the WWE right now, in your opinion?
I think it's real good. I believe they have a lot of great talent. I'm not, all I am is a jabroni wrestler. I'm not a promoter. But, I'm saying they have a lot of great talent there. I believe that, they can have more gimmicks, there could be more diversity. But then that's, like I said, my opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? Just what I see. You guys you talk about the feedback that you hear and that. I believe it's good. I believe some of the gimmicks are over the top. But I believe, they're trying and they're got some new guys. I think the last thing I've seen is they're bringing in these masked matadors. I was joking. I was the other night joking. I'm like, when I seen them, I'm like, Tito Santana's going to get very upset. Trying to steal his gimmick with Crush Velvet Max mask, But at least hopefully they're trying to go, maybe bring tags back. I mean, you got Brodus and the other guy.
Sweet tea.
Tensai.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe they could, be a good gimmick as far as big man tag. But hopefully, looks like they're trying to put a couple more tag teams together. Or hopefully they can do something with that. But hey, bring us some midgets. Bring us some good girl wrestlers with less drama and less of the girls talking and more wrestling, and less talking and more wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Shoot your angles, do your interview, and not every match have an interview. Big Show, I'm a big Show fan. I believe he's awesome. He's really come
I totally.
a million ways. You know what I'm saying? I think he's great, man. And I liked him when he was full-time tagging also. And they got a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of good talent there at many levels.
Any thoughts on John Cena?
Pardon me?
Any thoughts on John Cena?
I think Cena's good, man. I enjoy watching him. I believe he's a decent actor. I don't know him personally. You hear different things. I don't know the deal there. I met his dad about a month and a half ago up north. We were doing some shows in Connecticut, Rhode Island area up there. I was doing some autographs and that. And that's supposedly his dad. I guess he does some stuff up there. So, I don't know. Maybe it's not his real dad. I don't know. But what do I know? Like I said, I've only got 2 or 3 brain cells, man. You gotta give me a little leniency.
There you go.
I try and take people at face value.
I'm working on a few brain cells myself. I'm getting to that age too, But no, Mr. Ottman, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Like I said, I also watched you when I was a kid, when you were Tugboat, and of course when you began trying to change the gimmick to Typhoon with the late John Tenta as Earthquake, as the natural disasters, and I was a huge fan. And I just going to say, it's been an honor having you on the show again. I think I speak for everyone here that says you should be in the Hall of Fame, as well as your tag team partner, John Ottman.
Hey, I just want to tell you also, you guys go on my Facebook, I got an archive with lots of old wrestling matches and stuff from where I've wrestled in different territories. You need to pull up on YouTube, Superstar Bubba. Superstar Big Bubba.
Superstar Big Bubba.
That's right. And I do a dance contest with The Rock's dad. In Tennessee. You want some humor? That's a thing that you talk about road stories. You gotta watch it. You want to see a good-looking guy, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The women's pet, the men's regret. That's me, baby.
All right. Now, Mr. Ottman, real quick before you go, we do a request with all of our guests. We'd like to ask if you could give us a quick plug. If you could say, this is John Ottman, and you listen to Hardcore Wrestling Radio.
All right. Hardcore?
Hardcore Wrestling Radio.
Yes, this is the Shockmaster, and you're listening to Hardcore Wrestling Radio.
And of course, Mr. Ottman, where can everybody find you?
Facebook, brother, Fred Ottman.
Fred Ottman, Facebook.
That's it, man. You can contact me, be a friend, whatever you want to do. Like I said, I get pictures from fans all the time, video clips, video footage. I mean, just a variety of different stuff, man. Variety of different stuff. Yep.
Oh, thank you again. It's awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, that's Fred Ottman.
It's been a pleasure, and thank you very much. I appreciate being with you guys.
Thank you. The pleasure's been all ours.
Last question. Can you give us one tugboat toot?
That made my day.
Yeah.
It's the real deal, brother.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Good night. Have a great night. Thank you.
You too, brother. All right.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Fred.
Oh, guys, that was an awesome interview, guys.
Awesome.
Well, before we go, let's take care. Andy, where can everybody find you at?
You can find me at www.stokehaunted.com.
Billy, where can everybody find you at?
As high as a kite on the hole in the wall on youtube.com/WrestleGamer.
Lance, where can people find you at?
Lance Monster TV on youtube.com.
And Will, tell us all about everybody where we can find you at.
In James's basement.
Well, throw them into the depths of a trash can. www.instagram.tv/BayAreaMVP.
And of course, if you ever want to find us on Hardcore Wrestling Radio, head on over to our main page. That's Facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And of course, anytime you want to listen to shows, head over to Spreaker.com/HWR Media. Make sure you like us. Make sure you hit that follow button. And for everyone here, I'm the Shining Star Rick Starr saying we'll see you when we see you.
Tonight's interview with Fred Ottman has been brought to you by James and Big Easy's brand new charity, Chair Shots for Tugboats.
And then including Billy's girlfriend, Exana. Thank you for listening to this edition of Hardcore Wrestling Radio. Be sure to follow us on our pages, Facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio and Spreaker.com/HWR Media, and also on YouTube.com/HWR Show. Until the next time, this is Rick Starr saying, see you when we see you.